What's up, guys? James, with the Wheeler Truck. August 6th, Monday, about 11 o'clock. On our way back home, we had three stops today. One in Perryville, Missouri, two in Marion, Illinois. They were all live loads and unloads. Nice easy runs. Had some storms last night. Had to drive through some good old late night August storms. But you know, as on this channel, as of right now on the channel, our main topic of discussion is things we didn't learn, they didn't teach us in school. You know, everything that we're having to figure out on our own out here on the road that we didn't learn in school, because we all know that when it came to school, they only taught us how to pass the test and nothing else. So today we're going to go over shifting. And I know they taught us how to double clutch, how to hit every gear, and all that good crap. But what it boils down to is everything they taught us we won't use, because you will never double clutch. The only time you will double clutch is if you're in the mountains or the hills and you miss a gear. Then you might have to double clutch it to get it to find that hit that next gear below the one you missed. But other than that, you're going to be floating, and your companies that you work for are going to tell you to float. Better on the truck, saves the clutch, better on the transmission, and a lot smoother if done properly. So floating the gears means instead of pushing the clutch in to change gears, you bring the truck up to your normal shifting RPM, you let off the gas a little bit, pop the truck out of gear, and right into that next gear the same way you would if you was shifting normally. The only difference is you just don't use the clutch. Yes, I know I forgot to put my seatbelt on. It's going on right now. So the big thing when it comes to floating is you are going to need to get used to the sound of your truck. Because the float gears, I mean, you can watch your RPMs, but watching your RPMs requires you taking your eye off the road a lot. So if you know the sound of your truck, and you know the sound it makes when it's time to switch gears, well, you know when to shift. And now, for you guys and girls that got your test done in the automatic, and you're like, hey, what's that got to do with me? I can't even drive a manual. Well, it still has something to do with me. Because even in that automatic, you are going to hit hills sometime where you need to downshift. And you're going to use those paddles. Or you might have to upshift. Just all depends. I mean, the automatic, you still got to do some work. I mean, the truck would do it all by itself, but good chance you could bog down pretty good on a hill if you don't help it out a little bit. So with me, I run my Jake brakes all the time. So as you can hear them, my Jake brakes are always on. And now that makes shifting, floating, it's a little bit different, because there is a spot whenever you let your pedal out, your gas pedal, let your gas pedal out with the Jake brakes on, you decelerate a lot faster than what you normally would. And what that means is you might have to bump that throttle just a little bit to get you where you're supposed to be. As right now, it's all floating, no pushing, no hitting the clutch. As you heard, a little bit of grind. That's because my Jake brakes back me up a lot. lowering the RPMs. Like right now, I'm going up a hill, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and downshift that. See, I had to give it a little bump to bring it up to my right RPMs, and it just slips in gear. So let me turn my Jake so low. So this is my low setting. So I'm coming up to a red light right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give the throttle a little bump, and I'm going to go up. And I'm now in seventh gear, doing roughly 26 miles an hour. Coming up to a stop sign, so now I'm going to slightly depress the clutch. So now what I'm in fourth gear right now, I'm in third. Then talking and doing this is a little different. So I'm in fifth right now. I'm going to flip my selector switch, bump it into sixth. So with my Jakes on, I like to bring it out to about 2,000 RPMs, release the throttle, and slide it on down. Because by the time that I get it into neutral and into my next gear, my RPMs have dropped into that safe, that good area, you know, that 1,500 range. A lot of you guys' trucks are going to have, sorry about that, just got to finish eating. A lot of you guys' trucks are going to have on your tack, you're going to have green and red and yellow spots on your tack. They kind of tell you when to shift and when the good places to shift are. So with me, I like to bring my RPMs up to the yellow with my Jakes on. By the time I'm switching into the next gear, I'm down in that green and it should slide right into gear. I might have to let it slide just, or you know, bump the throttle a little bit, or go down just a little bit more, but usually pretty smooth. Now, when you're running your Jakes, there is a spot when you let out in your throttle that does not engage the Jakes, but you're also not accelerating anymore. And that is really the spot you're really trying to look for whenever you're floating with Jakes on. Try to put it back in third. But you're going to shift literally the same exact way as you would have used double clutching. Just not using the clutch. The only time you're going to use the clutch is coming up to it to make a complete stop, and then starting. The rest of the time is going to be strictly just floating gears into their place. So as of right now, I'm doing 45. So I'm in 8th gear. So I'm going to let off the throttle, slide it up. It slid right back in. It slid right in. So I don't know if y'all school taught you the little secret when it came to your gear and your RPMs. It doesn't work in your lower gears, but in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. So if you're doing 15 miles an hour, 5 plus 1, 15 is 6th gear. You're doing 25 miles an hour. 2 plus 5 equals 7. 7th gear. 35. 3 plus 5 equals 8. 8th gear. 45. 4 plus 5 equals 9. 9th gear. 55. 5 plus 5 equals 10. 10th gear. So right now I'm doing 35. So I'm going to go ahead and give the throttle a little bump. And slide her back on into 8. I've dropped down to 25, so I'm going to give it a little bump, slide it right back into 7. So the same way whenever you guys are shifting normal, just double clutching, you're going to do the same thing, float gears. And you don't have to yank it into gear or go all fast. I mean, literally, I can try to get 2 fingers. Just because of the shape of my shifter, my little joker head here. See, you didn't see me throwing it in gear or slamming it. Just slides right in. No issues. And once you get in a manual and start shifting, and you get the hang of it pretty quickly. Especially if, like, you guys go to one of those companies where you have a trainer. He's going to teach you how to do it. He's going to get you used to it. You're going to be driving around town, and you're going to be floating gears like crazy. So, like, right now, I'm slowing down to come to a red light. I'm using the truck to mainly slow me down. I'll use the brake to tap a little bit to kind of bring me down. So now I'm going to bump the accelerator. Now I'm going to do it again. Now we got to go down to 6th. Now I'm going to come to my complete stop. So I've got a pretty light load, so I'll start out in 3rd just because I've got a really light load. Now, if you want to hear it without the jakes on, it's a lot easier to float. I would recommend when you're learning to float, do it with the jakes off first. Get used to doing it without your jakes on. Because everything just moves into place a lot easier. Your RPMs don't drop real fast. It's just a lot smoother. Especially on your downshifts. But your upshifts, so if you take your gear out too far, once you drop it into neutral, you might have to wait a second for your RPMs to fall in that green zone. That in between 1500 and 1800 zone. Most of these trucks, they want to be shipped in between 1200 at the absolute lowest to about 1750, 800, 2000 at the absolute most. Now some motors want to be revved out a little higher, but for the most part, your sweet spot is in between 1350, 1400 to 1850. That's your sweet spot when it comes to shifting. And that is downshifting or upshifting. But definitely just recommend once you get in your truck, work on it. If you have a manual transmission vehicle, like if your daily driver is a manual, you can do the same thing in your vehicle. Practice it. Get used to it. Get comfortable without using that clutch. It takes a little bit of getting used to because your body and everything you've been taught your whole life says you're supposed to use your clutch. So like right now I'm waiting. Oh, I let it drop too far, so I'll bump the throttle a little bit. Now, if you hear it start kind of grinding a little bit, it doesn't want to go in, don't try to force it in. Just kind of ease off of it a little bit, bump the throttle or let the throttle fall depending on where your RPMs are at, and then just slide it in. So right now, speed limit's 50, so I'm going to bring it up to 55, about 1700 RPMs, and just boom. You heard it kind of grind just a little bit. That's because it was falling from $2,000 down to $1,750 before it just slid in. Now, I would recommend, this is just me personally, your Jake brakes. Keep them on at all times. Doesn't matter if you're in the mountains or not, Jake brakes are your friend. They will, so with you not double clutching, you're saving your clutch. With you Jake braking, you're saving your brakes. And then downshiftting is saving your brakes. So if I've got to come up to a corner or a stop that I know I need to downshift on, I don't need to jam on my brakes. I just need to turn my engine brake. I just need to let off the gas so my engine brake engages and start slowing down and downshifting to bring the truck speed down. Because you can take the truck from 80 miles an hour down to 15 without without ever even touching the brake. Just simply having your Jake brake on and downshifting properly. Now, yes, it'll take longer than what it would by using your brakes, but that's being observant, being a good driver. Okay? You don't need to be slamming on your brakes. You need to be stopping. You need to be coming up to a stoplight or a stoplight slowly. That way, you don't have to come to a complete stop. So if you start slowing down a block or two behind or before the stoplight, by the time you get there, most of the time that light's going to turn green and you'll be in your proper gear. You can just accelerate on through. So I really hope this has helped. You know, just keep trucking, keep practicing, and you guys will get it. And one day, you'll be that super trucker that the school told you that you was trying to be. But this is James with a pit bull in a truck. We're out of here. Have a good day. Keep the rubber down.